Hey, I'll be back in just a minute, okay? Works.
We'll wait a couple of minutes for her to join. If she doesn't join by that time, then you can just go ahead with your speech. I'll give you partial feedback on the specific things that you talk about, and yeah, that should be cool.
I mean, she joined.
Hello, am I audible? Just a second, just a second. It starts with me speaking, right? All right. Can I start? Or like one more thing I want to say, like I have to say that this house believes that the government, like I have to start with this, or I can straight away start with my content. All right. So please tell me when to start. I'm ready. Just a second. All right. I would start on the self count of three, two, one. In a time of extreme economic crisis, governments have a duty not just to inform, but to protect. Underdeveloped disclosure of all damaging economic informations can trigger large scale consequences far beyond the crisis itself. We are not advocating for permanent suspension or lying. We propose a model where the government temporarily withholds sensitive information. If released immediately, that could cause mass panics, systematic collapse, irreversible damage. Such information would be released gradually one, once stabilizing measures are taken. First, during an economic crisis, panic can spread very fast. This panic itself triggers a deeper and more immediate collapse. For example, in 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt temporarily closed banks, the bank holiday, to prevent mass withdrawals, giving the system breathing space to stabilize, which was essential at that time. By controlling the flow of information, governments allow time for rational thoughts, measured policy, and face it responses. Now, the opposition may argue that hiding information destroys public trust. Trust is not based on the volume of information, it is based on outcomes. Our model works on delay rather than denial. We are hiding information for their
POI.
own good only. Please proceed.
Yeah. The World Bank says transparency calms markets. Can you show any real cause where hiding facts actually stopped the crisis?
I just gave that an example that in 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt temporarily closed the bank on the name of the bank holiday to prevent mass withdrawals that would actually collapse the economy. So, this is, I think, the perfect example of where hiding information temporarily prevented mass riots and gave banks a breathing space which like government can help them functionalize better. Can I continue with my speech?
Yeah.
It is based on outcomes. Our model works on delay rather than denial. We are hiding information for their own good only because it may create worse consequences than the crisis itself in the public. At last, this house wants to say not all information must be hidden forever. Strategic delays and gradual disclosures maintains trust while preventing chaos. I'm done. Sure.
Arey yaar. Okay, never mind.
Okay, if you want to ask POI, I am comfortable answering.
If chair wants.
Sure.
Yeah. If hiding economic facts works, why did Thailand's secretive policies during 1997 Asian crisis caused a total market collapse?
Because the government was not able to deal with the information correctly. I firstly believe that is the fault of their government at the first place. And by this argument, are you saying that telling public sensitive information at the very start that would create chaos, maybe rise and even worse situation than the crisis itself, right?
I'm audible, right? Hello, yes. Okay, I'll start on my self count of three, two, one. Ma'am, before I even start, let me ask, if you cover a crack in a dam with a paint, will it stop the flood? Of course not. It only delays the disaster, and when it comes, it will hit harder. Today, I stand firmly against the motion. We must not, and I repeat, must not hide economic information during crisis. Hiding facts is like is like blindfolding a driver and hoping he still avoids the cliff. Ma'am, let's get straight. to the point. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 19, a United Nations backed treaty, says that every person has the right to seek, receive, and impart information, even in crisis. And if my learned friends on the other side have missed it, let me tell them this right exists not only during good times, but when things are bad. Now let's talk about logic. Economic crises feed on fear and uncertainty. If you hide information, you create more fear. People don't trust governments. That lie. A 2020 survey by Edelman Trust Barometer showed that during COVID-19 pandemic, governments that were more transparent, like New Zealand, rebuilt public trust. Those that hid facts, and I see without naming, faced protests, collapses in public cooperation, and bigger economic fails. So, ma'am, my friends on the government side are proposing that in a burning house, we should hide the fire alarms to prevent panic. What a brilliant idea if the goal was to burn down faster. Even the World Bank clearly says that clear communication is essential during economic downturns. In that 2021 report, they clearly stated that transparency stabilizes markets. But what my opponents are suggesting will only turn cautious investors into terrified ones. Because when people smell lies, they run, not walk away. Now let's talk about the real world. During the 1997 Asian financial crisis, the Thai government delayed revealing their for forex reserves had dried up. Result, when the truth finally came out, it triggered a mass collapse.
POI.
Information. Yes.
All right. So you claim that transparency leads to rational decision making. But how do you explain historical examples where people acted irrationally during crisis, like banks runs and stock market crashes? Isn't that more worse than the economic crisis itself?
Can you please just like repeat your question? I just didn't understand.
All right. You claim that transparency leads to rational decision making. But how do you explain historical example where people acted irrationally during these crises when they got to know about the sensitive information like banks runs and stock market crashes at the spot? Like stock market crash of 1929, like Black
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, okay, okay, okay. Ma'am, hiding facts actually increases panic because people fear what they don't know. United Nations Human Rights Committee General Comment number 34 clearly says that information must flow freely during public emergencies. For example, in COVID-19, governments like New Zealand shared bad news early, and they had among the world's lowest panic levels and fast recoveries. I believe that answers your question.
Actually, that does not answer my question. So you believe that all the info. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. If hiding worked, Argentina wouldn't have defaulted in 2001. If lying to the public world worked, Venezuela's economy wouldn't be in shambles today, despite years of government. Good news, ma'am. Information is like a medicine. Sometimes it's better, but hiding it only makes the disease
POI.
fatal. Okay.
So, at first, I just want to ask you one question. Is the government's first responsibility to be honest in principle or to prevent real world harm to millions of the lives?
To be honest, while side by side working to like solve the disaster or their economic crisis, but
I'm
first
sorry.
transparency should be there.
Ma'am, can
Can
I
I just continue?
have a follow up?
Okay. Some might say, oh, if public panic, they'll cause more damage. Well, ma'am, if your economy is already so weak that truth will destroy it, then your job is to fix the economy, not kill the truth. Not kill the truth. Blaming panic is just another way of blaming the people for government
POI.
failure. Very convenient, but not very honest. Also, hiding information assumes that the government knows best. I ask, if governments were so wise, why do we have crisis in the first place? Economics are collective efforts. Businesses, workers, families, they all need full picture of survive. Ma'am, in short, we don't solve a storm by shutting the windows. We prepare, we inform, and we act bravely. Therefore, I strongly oppose the motion because real
POI
leadership
now.
shines in the truth, not in shadows. Thank you.
What? I beg your pardon. I didn't get the last part. All right. Um,
Is my network gone or?
No, I thought my connection was gone. All right, thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, guys. It was a great debate. Now, yes. Bye. Thank you.